Hey guys, welcome back to Gardener's Orchard. I'm Radu, and I'm out here in our new Blackberry patch with Farmer Dre, and we're just looking at what we've already planted. So yeah, everything is looking pretty good here on the plastic. I'm gonna let Farmer Dre explain, see what we have going on here.
Alrighty, so we started planting on Monday, and we already got 700 in the ground, and then we just got super busy, and we still got 300 to plant, but hopefully this evening we're gonna finish them all off. And Jessica tell here, and you guys saw on our previous videos how we laid down the landscaping fabric and the drip irrigation underneath. So the landscaping fabric, it's a woven fabric, so the water does penetrate through it. And whenever it does rain, you know, people might say, well, like on the plastic, the water doesn't go through it, so you got to keep irrigating nonstop. But for these, for the blackberries and the landscaping fabric, the water gets through them. As Jessica tell, the plants in the greenhouse are growing like crazy, and Jessica tell they're nice and ready to go. So the next step is come through and trellis them, and it's called the RCH Blackberry trellis, is rotating cross arm. So we're gonna have one arm coming up, and then in the springtime you lay it flat. All the blossoms, you know, they bud on one side, and then you let them pollinate. And in the springtime you come through and pick them up, and then you just have a wall of blackberries. On one side it'll be all the foliage, all the leaves, and on the other side it'll be just black and full of blackberries. And you come through, pick 5 pounds in 5 minutes at full maturity. So hopefully next year we'll see some production off these. They're only young plants, so we'll see a little bit of production off these. But third and fourth year we'll see a lot more production, and we'll have plenty for the farmers markets, wherever else we have them. So it's just, you gotta talk to the sales manager about that. But I'm in charge of production, so hopefully if everything works out right, we'll start producing quite a bit of berries out of here. And we're super excited for farm fresh blackberries. So
All right, so Farmer Dre had to head back to get working on the high density system, but I got the U-Pick vegetable garden out here right behind me. As you can tell, everything is growing really fast. We got to come through and trellis and set up some stakes and stuff like that. So if anybody wants to volunteer and come get some real hands-on farm experience, you're more than welcome to give us a comment below. Let us know if you guys want to do that. But we got blooming on the squash, the eggplant, stuff like that. So it's looking good. This is our first year doing it, as you guys know. So hopefully everything works out great and we'll be able to do that every single year. But let's go check out Farmer Dre and see what he's been doing on the high density. It's been taking a lot of work, so he's going to go into detail today about what he's using, why he's using the twine, how you're supposed to prune, and how you're supposed to get the limbs all tied down and stuff like that. So let's go check it out, see what he's doing.
So what we're doing here today is we're tying down the feathers and the leaders of the apple trees on the high density apples, and we're just doing a bunch of square knots here. We're using the string, and the main important thing about the high density apples, you got to tie down the feathers so that the tree, the central leader, could grow all the way to the top, and hopefully by the end of next year all these trees will be at least 10 foot tall if we get the right fertilization on them. So me and Adrian are both just coming through, tying down the feathers like this. Below horizontal, as you guys can see here, the branch here's horizontal, we're putting it below so that the bud initiation can start, so next year they can start producing at least a few apples per tree. And as you can tell here, we only put the top 2 wires. Adrian welded the clips, but we don't have the time, and the trees need to be tied, so the 2 wires on the bottom here are tied, and they're coming through every single tree. And one important thing you got to come through is to cut down and cut everything below the bottom wire there, and then come through and stake them like so on this tree. I'll cut those 2 off, and then you have a perfectly straight tree on the bottom, so for weed control and everything else there. So just come through, what we do is we're wrapping the string around the wire there, and then coming through and square knotting it. And the reason we're doing that is so you won't girdle the tree, so the tree could have plenty of room. See, as you guys can see there, the tree has plenty of room there to grow if it does swell up and grow, and it's supposed to be growing. So come through like that. That's a perfect fine tree. And later on in the summer, we're going to come through and continue tying down these leaders as much as we can. So on something this small, it's too fragile, so if you tie it, it's just going to snap. But hopefully, if everything works out with the right fertilization, right irrigation, you know, they should be growing like crazy now. So whenever you do come through and prune these high density apples, whenever the tree itself, the diameter of the trunk, the leaders or the feathers of the tree, the branches cannot be bigger than 2/3 of the size of the trunk. And if this were to be, and we're trying to renew a growth, what you do is you do a Dutch cut, and that's a Dutch cut right there. And then the buds from in here would give out a new shoot from underneath there. But since we're trying to keep the from not growing anymore, we're just gonna cut as straight as possible, and that's not gonna give out a bud anymore. So let's say in 3 to 4 years from now, when the trees are tall and you want to renew the branches, it'll come through, make a Dutch cut, just cut it across, and then it'll give new branches, and the branches will start producing apples. So in the high density apples, you don't want the branches to be bigger than the trunk or 2/3 of the size of the trunk, and then you just come through and chop it out off in the winter time. So that's how you prune a high density apple tree. So on some of these trees, what you guys see here, this is called cedar apple rust, and most of the home gardeners, they do have this problem. And there's quite a bit of fungicides that helps with this. But since these trees, when we planted them, they're, the wind was blowing, they're falling over. I was kind of scared to come through with the sprayer. Since the rows are 12 feet apart, I couldn't come through with the spray and the fungicide. So on some tree rows, some varieties are worse than others. And over here we got the Golden Delicious that is very susceptible to cedar apple rust. But over here we got the Liberty apple, and as you guys can see, these leaves are looking perfectly healthy. There's a little bit of rust, but not as much as on the other varieties. So that's why it's very important to choose your varieties before you plant in different locations, because some varieties are more resistant to others, different diseases, different problems. So on this variety, it's probably gonna do very good. So, and it's very good we put this Liberty apple on our door fruit stock because they tend to be very vigorous. So hopefully these Liberty apples will be doing very well.
All right, guys, thanks for watching today. It's burning hot out here. Summer is officially here, and thanks for watching today's farm update. We're out here working. We got Adrian and Farmer Dre right behind me over here. It's gonna be a long day out here because it's so hot, but we're so thankful for the sun because that means we can work. We got stormed out yesterday, we got rained out in the afternoon, so there's always a challenge of us working more and more out here. So we appreciate you guys watching. Thank you. If you guys have any questions, let us know in the comments below. Otherwise, we appreciate you, and come out and see us on the farm. We're open. See you guys next time.